Ladies and gentlemen, what if the biggest obstacle standing between you and a peaceful life isn't your circumstances, but your own mind? What if the voice that keeps telling you to think harder, worry more, and prepare for every possible outcome is actually the very thing keeping you trapped? Think about that for a moment. How many nights have you stayed awake replaying conversations that are already over? How many hours have you spent worrying about a future that hasn't happened? How many opportunities have you missed because you kept waiting for certainty instead of taking action? The truth is simple. Overthinking has never changed the past. Overthinking has never guaranteed the future. Overthinking only steals the present. Ladies and gentlemen, the mind is a remarkable tool. It can imagine, create, solve problems, and dream beyond limits. But when you allow your mind to become your master instead of your servant, it begins creating suffering that doesn't exist. Most people believe they are thinking because they are being responsible. In reality, they are repeating the same fears over and over again. The mind asks endless questions. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if everything goes wrong? It rarely asks, what if everything works out? What if this challenge makes me stronger? What if the opportunity I've been waiting for is closer than I think? The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. If you constantly ask fearful questions, your mind will search for fearful answers. If you ask empowering questions, your mind will begin to discover possibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest truths you can ever discover is this: you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. Imagine sitting beside a river. Leaves float gently on the surface. You notice them passing by. You don't chase every leaf. You don't hold on to every leaf. You simply watch them come and go. Your thoughts are exactly the same. They appear. They stay for a moment. Then they disappear. The problem begins when you grab onto every fearful thought and treat it as absolute truth. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it deserves your belief. Not every thought is wise. Not every thought is real. Some thoughts are simply habits your mind has practiced for years, and habits can be changed. Ladies and gentlemen, overthinking often disguises itself as control. The mind tells you that if you think long enough, you can prevent disappointment. If you analyze every possibility, you can avoid failure. If you worry enough, somehow you'll protect yourself from pain. But life has never worked that way. Worry has never stopped tomorrow's challenges. It has only stolen today's joy. Think about your own life. Many of the things you worried about never happened. Many of the problems your mind created existed only in imagination. Yet your body experienced real stress because your mind believed those stories. Fear often lives in imagination. Peace lives in the present. The present moment is where your life is happening. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, only now. Right now, take a deep breath. Notice this moment. Nothing is missing. Nothing is rushing. Life is inviting you to be fully present. Most people miss life because they are mentally living somewhere else. They revisit the past with regret. They visit the future with anxiety. Very few truly arrive in the present, and yet the present is where peace exists. Ladies and gentlemen, another reason people overthink is because they fear making mistakes. They believe every decision must be perfect. But perfection is an illusion. Growth comes through experience. Wisdom comes through mistakes. Confidence comes through action. You cannot think your way into confidence. You act your way into confidence. Every successful person has faced uncertainty. Every successful person has made wrong decisions. The difference is that they kept moving. Action creates clarity. Stillness of mind creates wisdom. Constant thinking creates confusion. Remember this powerful truth. You do not need all the answers before taking the next step. You only need enough courage to take one step. Life reveals the next step after you move, not before. Trust is stronger than certainty. Trust says, I may not know exactly how everything will unfold, but I believe I can handle whatever comes. That belief changes everything. Ladies and gentlemen, your inner dialogue shapes your outer experience. If you constantly speak to yourself with criticism, your confidence weakens. If you constantly remind yourself of your strength, your courage grows. Speak to yourself with kindness. Speak to yourself with patience. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you deeply love, because your mind is always listening. Imagine waking up tomorrow and refusing to believe every anxious thought that appears. Imagine smiling instead of worrying. Imagine taking action instead of waiting. Imagine trusting life instead of fearing it. How different would your days become? How much lighter would your heart feel? Peace does not come because life becomes perfect. Peace comes because your relationship with your thoughts changes. You stop fighting every thought. You stop believing every fear. You stop trying to control every outcome. Instead, you choose awareness. You choose gratitude. You choose trust. And slowly, your mind becomes quieter. Not because problems disappear, but because you discover something greater than your problems. You discover the calm presence within yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one message I hope you remember today, it is this: your mind is a powerful servant, but it was never meant to be your master. Do not allow fear to write the story of your life. Do not let endless thinking steal moments that can never be replaced. Life is happening now. Peace is available now. Joy is available now. Take a deep breath. Release what you cannot control. Trust yourself. Trust the journey. And remember, the moment you stop overthinking is the moment you finally begin living. Thank you.